Somebody holler, go! You gotta go so you can flow. You gotta go so you can grow.
The physical standard is not what they need to meet. It's a mental standard you must meet in life. So going back to when I was sick, I was hitting the physical standards. I wasn't meeting the mental standard. The mental standard is you must know how far you've come.
Wow.
I had come 8,000 miles from where I started. But if you never know that, you're still in the $7 a month place. When I was sick, I was able to slow it down and reflect back on my entire life. And in that bed, when I thought I was dying, because that story is long, that sick portion of my life is long, I didn't care if I died or lived. Because I was, for the first time in my life, happy and at peace. Because I reflected back on where I started.
Don't make other people's opinion of you your business. You just focus on being a little better than you were yesterday, pushing more boundaries, more limits, challenging yourself a little more than you did yesterday, man. As long as your values align with the fear of God, you just stay true to yourself. Be real and heal.
You can change course as long as the next thing you do is equally or more difficult. Because that's a check against just giving up. So you want to discipline yourself so you can get yourself organized so that you can go in a particular direction, so that when you find the right direction, you can really go in that direction. And that does require an apprenticeship of sorts. And it might not matter in some sense exactly what the apprenticeship is, as long as it is rigorous.
No amount of regret can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. But just a grain of gratitude can change the present moment, man. Cast all your anxieties on God because He cares for you. Be real and heal.
It showed me even more of what we have as humans, if we're willing to go there and we're willing to push that extra step. And like I say, I always tell people, a lot of people, man, how do you do what you do? At the end of the day, I ask myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step, so if I choose not to, that's on me. And I got to live with that.
Be certain of the fact that a lot can change in just a short amount of time. You can get a new body, a new mindset, new character, new everything, because everything is possible with God. Be transformed by the renewing of your mindset, man.
To orient yourself in the world, you need a vision. It's like the development of a map. It's a map of the future. And without that, you're lost. And people are lost, and they blow in the wind. And then their lives are meaningless, and they feel like they're powerless. And it's because they haven't developed a vision. The people perish without a vision. It's a very old idea. It's definitely true.
You gotta learn to look back up again because you've been stuck in that vicious cycle for way too long. Do not forget that the righteous falls 7 times and still gets back up again. And it's never in your best interest to accept defeat, because have you not read that no weapon formed against you shall prosper? Come on, you gotta find courage and faith. Get up.
The fact that they don't see the dream, the fact that they don't see what you can be, has nothing to do with what God can do. Nothing at all.
No matter your age, you always wish that you knew then what you know now. Always wishing that you started when you were younger. You see, we got the moral obligation to make the best use of our time because the days are evil. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep dreaming, man. And to go after what God has ordained for you, you gotta be bold and courageous, knowing that He's never gonna leave you nor forsake you. How you act in tough times is much more important than how you act in times of victory, because that's exactly when everybody can see your character.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the enemy can't stop the chiller from being cold, but if he can jam up your mind with all kinds of foolishness so that you're not getting a good flow in your life,
You'll say, well, I'm going to church, but it's still not working. I'm hearing the word and it's still not working. I go to the potter's house and I'm still not getting what I need. But it's because your ductwork is jammed up with guilt and pain and envy and anger and confusion and strife. And you need to take a minute and get by yourself somewhere and do a good cleanse and cleanse out your ductwork so that the power of God can flow through you without the obstruction of unbelief and malice and pride and anger, because it's stopping you from getting the best of what God wants to flow into your life. There's a flow that God wants to release. There's a flow that God wants to deliver. There's a flow that God has promised you. There's a flow, and in order to get the flow, you got to leave some folks alone. You got to move out some places. You got to change some friends. You're related to them, but you're not connected to them, and you got to pack your bags and go. Somebody holler, go! You gotta go so you can flow. You gotta go so you can grow.
When you hurt so bad that you can't even find a place to run to, I hope you remember that Jesus Christ is the only secure refuge, man. And you cannot lean on to your own understanding, you just can't. But in all your ways, commit yourself to God and He will straighten your path. Even when you go through the darkest moments of your life, you'll still have peace because you know who goes before you. Man, be real and heal.